Hey, what's up, Troop 486? This is Assistant Scoutmaster Andy. I had talked to Larry about putting together some videos, maybe doing some live streaming. We might do live streaming later, but right now what I want to do is I want to teach you how to cook 3 different chicken dishes for a base camp. Part of when we are taking our time to kind of shelter in place and socially distance is we're going to create projects and goals and things to work towards. And so this is something that you can do at home, perfect it at your house, practice this with your parents when you're cooking dinner, working on your cooking merit badge, so that you have a goal in mind for the future when you're at a base camp. So we're going to first make chicken 3 different ways, really easy ways, and we're going to talk about what kind of chicken to buy, how to prepare it, how to cook it, and why you should buy this kind of chicken versus other kinds of chicken. So the first thing anytime you're going to be cooking is I want you to wash your hands. So we're going to turn on our pan now. One of the things about cooking chicken or any meat for that matter, any protein, is you need a hot pan. So you're going to notice I'm starting to heat this up right now, even though I'm going to be doing some other things, because I need this pan to be hot when I'm ready to cook. So we get it going. So first off, I want to make sure you guys are always washing your hands, make sure your hands are clean. Especially now with COVID-19, everyone's washing their hands a lot anyways. We got to keep doing that.
Say hi, Micah.
Here's my dog.
Hello.
All right, next thing I want to talk to you guys about is when you should be bringing your chicken out. If you cook really cold chicken that got right out of the ice chest and is close to 32 degrees, the temperature of that ice, it actually is going to cook really unevenly. So what you want to start doing is you want to pull it out and start preparing it. I've done that already. I defrosted it. Next thing you guys need to do, come on in close, is we're going to go ahead and salt it. I go both sides of it. We're going to salt, and then I'm going to pepper. So you want to make sure that you can see the salt on there, but you don't want to go crazy. You don't want super salty, and then you want to get the other side.
And what kind of chicken are you using?
So one of the chickens that we're getting right now is, this is chicken breast, and these are chicken breast tenderloins. Now when you guys go shopping, I'm going to show you right now. Let me rinse my hands off. What you're going to want to do when you guys go shopping, whether it's Stater Brothers, whether it's Albertsons, regardless of where you're going, as I make a mess.
We'll say hi to Micah again. Hi, Micah. Up here. Hi.
Is you want to get chicken tenderloins. You can get them frozen in the frozen section. These are thinner, and at a base camp, they're going to cook very fast. So you can get a bag of them, either at Trader Joe's, at Albertsons, at Stater Brothers. Anywhere you go, they're going to be in the frozen section. This is really good. This is a big one from Costco, but at Stater Brothers, you can get a 5-pound bag. For Boy Scouts, you want to aim for, roughly speaking, 1/3 of a pound of meat per person to a 1/2 pound if they're older and they're a high schooler. Your younger boys, your first years, your second years, so your boys who are scouts, tenderfoots, they're going to eat about 1/3 of a pound. Your older boys, your star scouts and older, they're going to eat about a 1/2 pound of protein. Next thing is you want to make sure that your pan has a couple things. So I do about, you can see, about this much butter. It's a little less than a tablespoon. I'm going to put it in there. And then the other thing you want to do, butter has one property, it has a really high smoking point, is you're going to want to mix your oil. You guys bring oil with you. So you're going to do about a tablespoon of oil. You can see about how long I pour for. It's about 1.5 seconds. I've got a little stopper. If you guys don't, you can use your measuring thing. You're going to use about a tablespoon of butter, tablespoon of oil. So we're going to mix it up here. You want to make sure you coat your pan. This is very similar to the pans you guys have. If you guys are using non-stick pans, while you don't need it, you should still do it, because what butter and oil do together is it's going to create a nice brown layer for you. So I'm not happy with how hot this is, so I'm going to let it get a little hotter. How do you know butter's getting hot enough? The butter will actually start to slowly change colors. So you want it maybe to get sort of a light brown. But you're watching, I'm doing this in a video that's relatively short, and I'm using tenderloins on purpose that I've defrosted and I've let come close to room temperature because they cook really fast. So we're making a basic barbecue chicken, okay? Just a basic barbecue chicken. So we've heated up our pan, we're ready to go. And you're gonna put it in the pan, and you want to give room.
I'm going to stay close this whole time.
Yeah. Don't crowd your meat. So when you put your meat in there, sometimes I watch some of you boys and you're cooking, and you guys are going to put your meats together like this. If you do that, they're not going to cook the same. You want to give your meat a little bit of room. In this one, I could fit probably, you know, another tenderloin up here, another tenderloin up here, another tenderloin up here. But you don't want to do too much. If you do too much, it's not going to brown evenly. It's not going to be nice and good. Next thing you're going to notice is that while this is cooking, we're going to start seeing the outside of it. Now, sometimes you guys will notice when you're cooking chicken, raw chicken particularly, you get kind of this white, kind of like, it looks like a, I don't know how to describe it. Basically what it is, it's the protein in the water is coming out of the chicken, and that means you cooked your chicken when it wasn't fully defrosted. You want your chicken to be fully defrosted. So this chicken's fully defrosted, it's ready to go, and you actually can already start seeing here on some of the thinner parts, you can start seeing where it's browning. We're getting a nice brown color. So remember what I said, we're making a simple barbecue chicken. Notice that I didn't put any barbecue sauce on it already. We put barbecue sauce on only at the very end. That's the very end time when we're going to be doing it. We don't want to do it now. So I haven't checked time exactly, but it's going to work out to be about 3 minutes per side, roughly speaking. I have a thermometer that I use, but when you get used to it, I'm going to show you how to cut open a piece of chicken just to know. So this thermometer actually tells us really fast what we're looking at. We're going to be flipping, so we want to hit 160 degrees. That's a food safe temperature for a piece of chicken is 160 degrees. But you can start seeing we're looking good. Notice how the cooked meat is starting to come up. The pink is starting to go away. That's how you know this area right here, right? We're getting cooked. It's getting closer to being done. You can see it all the way over. There's no of that protein discharge I talked about, because with the protein discharge, that just means your chicken was too cold when you started cooking it. And it doesn't matter. You can be cooking steak, you can be cooking or beef, you can be cooking pork, you can be cooking chicken. Any of those meats, if you don't defrost, you're going to get that. So we're getting close to being able to flip. You're going to test one. You can see we're nice and evenly brown, right? We got our nice burnt edges, which is what we want, nice crispy edges. And the reason why we have those crispy edges around the outside, the reason why those exist right now, is because we gave this meat room. If we would have cramped everything in, it wouldn't do the same thing. So you want to give that meat room. Notice also I'm cooking on a pretty high temperature, right? This is pretty high. I'm not going real low. A lot of times people worry about burning their food, and you actually don't want to go too low. So we're now at the temperature I want for my pan, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So we're going to flip each one. You can see all of them look even, right? They're beautiful. That's exactly what you want. You want kind of a golden brown hue to it. That's how you know this is where you want it to be. And so we're going to cook this again. We got another about 2 minutes on this side, and then we're going to put on our barbecue sauce. So this is something you can do at a base camp easily. This is an easy base camp thing to cook. It's going to be nutritious. You can make it in batches, save it for later, feed your group a little bit at a time, regardless of how you do it. But you're going to want to do that. Next thing is you're going to start seeing at base camps, just like at my house, this isn't a perfectly level stove. So you can see I have no oil up top here. So up here I have no oil, and then I have oil pooling. So every once in a while what you're going to want to do, just to kind of make sure you get a good even distribution, is you want to kind of move things around, especially as you're cooking, because what you want is you want that oil to help cook the food. Sometimes if you're a French chef, what you would do is you would spoon it down here, and you can get a spoon and you would pour it over the top. And you take your grease and you pour it over the top of your food. And what that does
He's
is
fancy, Micah.
It starts creating kind of a nice flavor to it. So I don't know if that's exactly 3 minutes, but I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty close. So if you come in close here, what we're looking for is we want 160 degrees. Now at a base camp, I know you guys don't always have meat thermometers, so I'm going to show you how to check 2 ways. So one way, I think we're pretty close. And look at that. I was wrong. We're not pretty close. So we're at 135 degrees. So that is good if you're looking for a medium rare piece of beef, but we're not cooking beef. We're cooking chicken. But you're going to notice this thinner piece around the same temperature, right? They're all going to be about the same. This one's a little hotter, so we probably have a hot spot on this side. We're going to scoot over our pan just a little bit. One of the other ways you can find hot spots is if you put your hand over, you can start feeling where is it hotter. It actually is a little bit hotter over here. So we're going to keep cooking our meat. Sometimes you're going to want to check. Maybe turn it up just a tiny bit because we're almost there. We're going to be pulling this meat off at about 145 degrees, and I'm going to show you why. So we're getting close now. We're in the 140s. So we're really close. There we go. We're where we want to be. So here we go. The next thing you want to do, remember what I said about the barbecue sauce. Sometimes I see boys and they'll put barbecue sauce on right away. All you're going to do is burn the sugar in your barbecue sauce. And we don't want to burn the sugar in barbecue sauce because one of the big ingredients in barbecue sauce is sugar. So what you're going to do is now that our chicken's really close, you're going to put some barbecue sauce on it right now. And we're going to do about a minute on each side. We're already really close to it being done. So I'm going to flip it over. It's going to kind of cook in that sugary barbecue sauce. Really yummy. You're going to like that a lot. And then, while that side cooks, you're going to want to cook it over. Now, if you look real close here, and this is why we did this at the very, very end, you can start seeing that sugar starting to caramelize. You see how that sugar in the pan is caramelizing? It's bubbling up. It's making a caramel because as butter heats up, and now I'm going to turn my heat off because I don't need any more heat. As that sugar heats up, it starts creating a caramel, which is what coats. And see how we have that nice, even coat. And now we flip it back over. We have a nice even coat, right? So it started like this. It's spread out. We have that nice even coat. Nice even coat.
And the pan is still hot, right?
So yeah, this is a cast iron pan. But even the pans you guys use, even if they're not cast iron, they're going to hold a lot of heat. That's why we're using metal pans. And so it's kind of what we call coasting to the finish. We don't want our meat to burn. So if we come here and check, I'm going to bet you we're really, really close. So we're coming up. We want to hit 160. So we're really close. There we go.
Bingo.
So
160 or 165?
It's 160 to 170. Depends on some of your cookbooks. So we're right there. That's right where we want to be. Not the plate that had our raw chicken. This is a plate that I've been resting my tongs on, so you can kind of see, you can kind of get some of that goodness of the barbecue sauce. You can kind of mix it up in there, and just like that, you've got really, really yummy barbecue chicken that you're going to be able to eat with any of your base camp stuff.
And how would we check the temperature without the thermometer if it's ready?
One of the ways we want to check our temperature, and this isn't as precise as a thermometer, but it's really close, is you're going to want to take a knife and a fork on your thickest piece of meat. So if you go here, we got two pieces that are kind of big. You're going to want to go ahead and cut it in half, and what you should see is all white inside. We're not wanting to see any pink. All white inside. If there's any pink, right, if we look over here, I've got some other chicken I'm going to be teaching you guys with. That's the color of raw chicken. We don't want any of that color. We want to see completely white meat inside, and that's it. Some people are going to want more barbecue sauce. They can put it on after the fact, but that is all the barbecue sauce you want to be cooking with. It's going to make it harder to clean up if you use too much, and if you cook from the very beginning, you're just going to get a black carbony mess on your frying pan. So that's how you make barbecue chicken. The next one I'm going to teach you how to make is how to make a brine chicken, similar to a taste that you're going to get from like a Chick-fil-A, but it's going to be a really, really tender, juicy piece of chicken that you can chop up and you can put in different pastas and things like that. So that'll be my next video. Thanks so much, guys.